First of all, thank you all of you that joined us in this session after lunch. We know it's a difficult time, so I'm sure you'll do your best to stay tuned, and we'll do our best to make you entertained. So this conversation about the Samsung platform is actually quite unique. It doesn't happen very often that a company of the size of Samsung actually changes the ecosystem and launches an entire new offering for developers, especially for indie game developers that don't have a lot of options out there. And when you talk about the behemoths of Google and Apple, and when you try to fight those logistics and rules and so on, it's actually very nice to see Samsung taking a step forward and owning this space. So before we dive into that, I would like, Mihai, if you can just tell us a bit about yourself, your background. You've done some exciting stuff in EA and Disney and now in Samsung, so go ahead.
Okay, so, wow, long story there, but I've been in the industry since I was 18. It was effectively my first job while I was in college, and I worked for Activision. My first job was a QA tester. Definitely got my start in the lowest rungs of the games industry environment, and you know, worked my way up at Activision, went to a startup called Jamdat Mobile, one of the first mobile companies in the US to make games, and stayed with them for a few years, then went to my home country, to Romania, started a studio there for Jamdat, and we were subsequently acquired by Electronic Arts. We had you know, a great run as an independent company and a great exit. I think the deal was about $750 million acquisition by EA at the time, and that's what became EA Mobile. And then I moved on to Disney, managed product operations for their for all their interactive entertainment offerings, mobile, console, and anything else in between. And my latest role is at Samsung, and I run a team called Emerging Platforms, and our primary mission is to support the software ecosystem around Samsung products. We're a very unique team at Samsung because we have a software focus, which is, you know, a bit unusual in a company that has consumer electronics, so hardware at its core. And also we are cross-platform in our approach. So we look after mobile and tablet and TV and VR and Internet of Things and wearables, and we try to find experiences that can stride across the entire ecosystem. And there are 4 components to this team. It's useful to know, if you're going to interact with us with Emerging Platforms, how to work with us. So we have a developer intake mechanism we call Developer Connection, and we organize events. We have a presence at developer conferences. It's part of the reason that I'm here today. By the way, my first time in Tel Aviv. I really look forward to discovering the city. And
first time is the best in Israel.
The first time is the best.
And then the second is the best.
Okay, it gets better, right? Like a fine wine. But yeah, I look forward to coming back. I look forward to engaging with the development community here. It's part of what we do. And we organize also a very large event called Samsung Developer Conference. It's in San Francisco. I hope to see as many of you there as possible, and that's a unique opportunity to interact with Samsung as a corporation and to plug into its initiatives and to you know, have relationships at many levels with the people that power the company. Another component of our team is publishing. So we run the App Store in the US, one of the most important markets for Galaxy apps. And we also partner with external developers to create device optimizations for apps and games. And the third component is a production organization, and we have engineers, designers, artists, producers that partner with key brands and with startups and innovators to create an exclusive offering for Samsung devices. And last but not least, we have an operations team, covers the gamut of development services from I don't know, quality assurance, deployment, system operations, so on and so forth. We offer that to external developers and internal developers alike. So that's me, that's what I do.
So when do you sleep? No, I mean, seriously, like 4 different platforms, and how many people in this team of emerging platforms in Samsung?
So we're about 100 people.
Okay.
We're based in Silicon Valley, and you know, I could say the same about you as well, right? I'm sure you have a very busy professional life, but we have a great team. You know, there are fantastic people on the team, and so I'm lucky to be supported and to work with them.
So you see Samsung going into a lot of new stuff, like Internet of Things and Samsung Gear and Samsung TV. And I mean, one of the unique traits in Samsung is the cross-platform. And how does that correlate with your recent initiative of opening the App Store for developers? I mean, is it going to be available to developers worldwide across all devices, or is it going to be subjected to like a specific scrutiny of each and every platform? How do you relate to that?
Well, so first of all, in terms of short history, Galaxy Apps, which used to be called Samsung Apps in the past, has existed for some time, about 4 years. And the strategy around the store has evolved over time. Most recently, we have decided to position the store as a worthy alternative to our other illustrious competitors.
Illustrious, indeed.
And really the focus for us with Galaxy Apps is to create a boutique offering, high quality products with a distinct preference for indie content as far as games is concerned, but really providing an alternative discovery mechanism. So whereas the established stores are effectively, you know, Walmarts, you know, they're supermarkets for content, we want to be a boutique offering and to have a highly specialized set of apps and games on display, being an invite-only store and restricting the number of content to very few applications at any given time. So we're looking at 3,000 to 5,000 apps and constantly purging the apps that are underperforming or that are obsolete in some way. And onboarding, you know, the best content that we can find with a distinct ideological bias towards indie content. So we're talking about games on one end of the spectrum, but also apps. So to this end, we partner with outfits like GameSpeed and Pocket Gamer to generate the leads for new content for us to onboard. And we partner with accelerators in the Silicon Valley like Plug and Play to find new startups that have an interesting product. So we think that that foray is so important for the development community to get, to get started, to start getting downloads. The store, so this is important to know, right? I obviously represent the US store. Galaxy Apps has a presence internationally.
Which is how much from the world global store in Samsung?
So currently the US store has grown from 6 million MAU at the start of the year to 14 million MAUs, and that's a result of a lot of merchandising efforts. The global store is over 90 million MAUs. And as far as the games industry is concerned, a lot of developers don't know of Galaxy Apps because Samsung has never really promoted the store for games. So that has changed now. It's part of the reason that I'm here talking to you. And even though we're not at the same scale as Google Play or other, or other fruit company competitor, we
Some kind of orange. Oh,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Apple.
Yes.
I can say that.
Yes, you can say it. We are, obviously this store is becoming more popular. We've changed the merchandising strategy for it, and it's becoming a really viable marketplace. And that is really what we're after. We're after being in a position to offer developers true return on investment from coming into the store and creating custom content for Samsung devices.
Okay. So if I'm a small developer or even a large developer like Playtika, why would I take the effort in launching our app on the Samsung store? So, because Google offers me the world and you're still 90 million kind of small. So how does that work? What's your incentive to the developers and how can it make us do the extra mile to make sure we support your store as well?
The advantage of working with us is in predictable featuring, and also the fact that, look, if you are going to be featured in Google Play, yes, you are going to receive a lot of installs. But for most small developers, the prospect of featuring is actually pretty remote. Not for Playtika. Playtika will be featured because you are already an established quantity in the game space. But an indie developer would find that more difficult. Not so with our store. You know, this is a consequence of volume. Obviously, we have a lower volume of entries into our store than Google Play does. But also, we are not an open store as they do. So we are, you know, far more selective. If you have great content, we will find it. We will take the time to identify it and to promote it.
And you come pre-installed, right? So when I buy a new Samsung device, I get the store just there. I don't have to do anything.
That's a great advantage that we have. We are indeed preloaded on every single Samsung device released worldwide. And the reason we're seeing the performance of the store increase in the past year, as I mentioned, is we retain users better. So we have better content, we have better merchandising, the store simply looks nicer than ever, and that drives the people back, every week. And we think the proposition, the ability to have an alternative marketplace, it's injecting a bit of competition into the general marketplace of Android products, and I think that's a good thing. I think that benefits the games community and definitely benefits Android as an ecosystem.
Plus, there could be like potential business upside for the developers, which we're not going to get in there, but still.
Absolutely, there are, beyond featuring, there are
course.
promotional opportunities. Samsung is a very large company. We obviously spend a lot of money marketing our devices, and games are a beautiful use case for these, beautiful screens that we have, and the beautiful hardware that we produce. So yeah, if you are coming into our store and if you have a high quality content, if our customers love it, then there is the opportunity of marketing that further through our traditional efforts. So okay. Whenever we launch a new device, you could
like offline stuff, right?
Yeah, offline. So it can be a preload of your game onto a new device, but it can also be TV campaigns, billboards, retail promotions, and of course, the easiest thing that we can do is some type of digital channel promotion. In the US alone, we have about 18 million subscribers to the various, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram accounts that Samsung maintains. So that's a huge level of coverage and promotion that would come free of cost to any developer that we can feature in that way. Okay.
So one final question before we wrap up and open for Q&A. So let's say I'm a developer and you got me approved and I'm in your precious store and I'm in the boutique and I get the best spacing in the shop, but still, are you guys accessible? Can I work with you guys? I mean, Apple and Google have been there for a while. They have developer relations and they have relationships built over time. So is Samsung up for that? Because you're a consumer electronic company.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely an area that as a company we can do better, and we try to do better. In the US team, we have established a white glove service. We call it the Samsung Application Launch Program. It's part of our broader developer program, but effectively what we've done is we've placed account managers on our side to work directly with you to conquer the challenges of publishing to a complex platform like Galaxy apps. And the reason I'm saying that it's a complex platform, it has its own certification method. And we really care about that because we want to make sure that the game or app experience is optimized. So we take pride in the fact that our content has high quality values. But that in turn creates some challenges for developers, especially smaller developers that don't have very sophisticated QA systems in-house. So that's where we come in. Through the US store, if you work with us, we will be able to kind of walk you through the entire process, and we'll be able to kind of smooth over any issues that may arise.
So you work alongside the developer and get him on board, yes. Not just in the front gate, but also afterwards when you get accustomed to the system.
Absolutely. And here's the good news. If you work with us and obviously you would be published onto Galaxy apps, you are not present just in the US store, you would be present worldwide. So effectively, what the US team can provide you is with a shortcut, not just to the US market, but all the international markets. And yeah, good featuring opportunity, especially for indie developers, and I look forward to working with all the Israeli studios to give you a toehold into the US market.
Thank you very much, Mihai.
Boaz,
and now we're opening this up for questions. Anyone has any questions from the audience?
Hi. Okay, I'm an indie developer, and I was wondering, technically, what kind of modifications will I have to do with my Google Play application / game in order to publish it in the Samsung Galaxy Apps Store, especially in a purchase or whatever?
Yeah, great question. So in case you haven't heard it, the question was about what technical differences would exist for publishing within Galaxy Apps versus Google Play, which is a great question. First of all, your code doesn't change at all. It's the standard Android APK. If it's a paid game, there are literally no changes whatsoever from the standard Google Play APK. If your game transacts through in-app purchases, there is indeed a Samsung billing integration that's less than 1 engineer week to put together, and then every build that you make afterwards can be automated. So that would be the only change that you ever have to make to come into our store.
Plus, I just want to add to that is one of the Playtika apps has done the relationship, has already walked down that path, and we can also say that some of the tracking issues need to be adjusted as well. So if you do user acquisition, you need to take that into account. Okay?
Yes. Hi, can you talk a little bit about Samsung VR and how big a part it is of your strategy, and what type of product you see working on this platform?
Oh, great question. We're very bullish about Samsung Gear VR. We think that is the one truly mass market VR device that will be launching. It's also the only subsidized VR model that is, it uses the mobile phone in order to deliver the experience. Not the highest quality, but definitely a very functional level of VR quality.
Better than Google Cardboard.
Oh, yes. It fits better on your face, at least. So anyway, Samsung is primarily looking at video content for the Gear VR. So we're actively sourcing video content. We are engaged with game developers as well, but it's mostly about funneling and finding a place for them within the Oculus store. So you can talk to me about games, absolutely. Games for Gear VR, would be happy to connect you with Oculus, would be happy to investigate internal promotional opportunities. But the focus for Samsung currently is on Milk VR, and Milk VR is a video streaming app utility within the Gear VR ecosystem.
And I'm sure many of you also have questions for Mihai, and such an interesting and exciting take on an app store. But everybody, just give Mihai and Boaz a hand here, and thanks.
Thank you, guys. Pleasure.